Magadha was centered around the modern state in India of Bihar, a state of rich cultural history and other things. It's around here where the philosophical school of Shramana originated in the 6th or 5th century BC. Shramana is an ascetic philosophy centered around monastic orders, including Jainism and Buddhism, and to some degree influencing the Hindu Upanishads. Jainism and Buddhism are important because they're historical treatises and to some degree the Brahmanical Hindu Puranas, although not completely reliable and often giving conflicting accounts, are some of the closest things we can get to glimpses of ancient India's history. The kingdom itself is one of several societies that urbanized in the 6th century BC after a period of mostly scattered tribal states, the second urbanization since the Indus Valley civilization. There were dynasties before, but history only starts going into detail about the kingdoms of Magadha with the Haryanka dynasty, founded by King Bimbisara. Bimbisara was an expansionist king during his reign from 544 to his death in 492 BC, forming alliances with kings by taking their daughters in marriage. According to the Buddhist account, things got really crazy when the son Ajatashatru, influenced by the Buddha's evil cousin Devdatta, put his father in prison. His father accepted that he would spend the rest of his life in captivity, but when Ajatashatru saw how devoted Bimbisara's wife Chalana was to him, he relented and ran with a metal club to break his father's chains. Bimbisara thought his son was coming to kill him, and so he drank a conveniently placed bottle of poison. Either way, from 490 to 462 BC, Ajatashatru would go on many conquests and expand his empire over much of the northeast Gangetic plain. There would be several more kings after him, depending on who you asked, but either way, in 413 BC, they would be overthrown by the Shashanaga dynasty, who would expand the empire further. In 345 BC, they too would meet a bloody end as well at the hand of the Nandas. There are conflicting arguments on who the first of the Nanda dynasty was, though most sources agree that he probably wasn't a pure-blooded noble. The Puranas refer to a king called Mahapadmananda, with the Brahmin writers calling him sinful because despite ruling the kingdom, he was Apshudra. Meanwhile, the Buddhist sources describe a king called Ugrasena who was one day attacked by a gang of robbers, only to take control of them and conquer the kingdom. Finally, the Jain sources say that the first Nanda king was son of a barber, while the Roman historian Curtius says that he was a barber who became the lover of the queen of the last Shashanaga king, and at a prompt killed the king. Anyways, the Nandas are important primarily because the last king, Dhanananda, would be spectacularly overthrown in the most important transition of India in the last millennium before Christ.